Good morning, everyone. My name is Katherine, and today I would like to present to you my findings on my business study of communication in a workplace. I have chosen to conduct this study on the New South Wales electricity provider Ausgrid. The discussion points will be the types of communication used both internally and externally within the company, and what I believe works well and what doesn't, and the reasons as to why. Effective communication within a business is vital in regards to providing a clear business objective and keeping collaboration between the sections of the workplace. Good communication is not only important within Ausgrid, but also with its current customers, future customers, and the public in general. Today I will focus on the theories of effective communication of the sensual and perception theories of visual communication, and also the poor communication method used, such as the theory of Weaver's model of transmission and how it relates to Ausgrid. Ausgrid is one of the major electricity network owners in New South Wales. They distribute to over 1.5 million customers, which ranges from the Hunter region, the Illawarra region, and also to the western regions of New South Wales. Some of the main services include 24/7 emergency call-out centres, information on up-to-date safety information, or on-the-road employees that wires up electricity or investigates electricity problem at a house or at a business. Within Ausgrid, there are hundreds of employees that are in specialised sections of the business. By having specialised sections within the business, it can not only create collaboration within the business, but it can also make it run smoothly. In order for the business to run smoothly though, and provide their services, the different sections of Ausgrid tries and achieves their individual sections' objectives, which then are collaborated with other sections, which then achieves the business goal in the end. Ausgrid uses many forms of communication to internally apply the business purpose of providing excellent customer service to the public in relation to anything electrical, and also circulating the business message of keep safe when working around wires to all employees working in and out of the office. The two ways that they effectively circulate this message is through bulletin boards and internal internet. Internal internet comes under the central theory of communication, which can be described as prior experiences that are compared to current situations, which then makes the brain classify visual matters in distinct groups. Prior experiences in the case of Ausgrid is that employees have gone to the internal internet web pages to search upcoming training, messages from the hierarchy, up-to-date safety information, and also telephone numbers of the different sections of the business. Central theory can also be broken down into a couple of different subsections, one of these being the Gestalt theory. With the Gestalt theory, there are 4 specific subsections, which are similarity, proximity, and continuation. Similarity refers to the principle that items that have a visual characteristics can be seen as belonging together. From gaining access to the internal internet page through one of my sources, I could see that on the home page, images that were bright and of the same shape relatively related to safety, as safety is one of the key factors and key responsibilities within Ausgrid. These images may not have the word safety in them, but they're also bright enough and attention grabbing enough for the employees to associate with safety. The principle of proximity is also applied to the internal internet, as images on the page or hyperlinks that relate to each other were generally grouped on the same side of the web page, or not too far from each other anyway. This made it easier for employees to locate and access, which then makes it proficient in the end. The internal internet of Ausgrid also applies to the principle of continuity. Continuity is the principle that the brain seeks a smooth continuation of line without no sudden changes or movement images. Through discussions with an employee from Ausgrid, it has been determined that the information or images on the web page have not dramatically changed over the last 6 months, which then, in their eyes, have made it easier to gain information. The next positive communication theory, or perceptual theory, or cognitive, that relates to the use of bulletin boards in Osgood offices. Perceptual theory is the conclusion of meanings that has been formed after the brain has been stimulated. The factors that affect the conclusions made are memory, projection, expectation, selectivity, habituation, and salience. All of these factors can majorly affect the way the brain interprets an image. Even if it's just one, it can change the dynamic of the image. Using bulletin boards for communicating to employees over the years of Osgood can create memory. This can cause the image being presented on the bulletin board to be seen as familiar, which then recalls stored images from the past and then creates a reminder as to, this bulletin board mainly relates to safety, or this bulletin board relates to training information. The next factor to take into consideration is a personal projection. This is a factor as employees interpret an image on a personal level and not being persuaded by others, which can happen when there is more than 3 people in the section. This is important to keep in mind, as the purpose of the bulletin board is to send out a particular message which all people need to understand on a basic level. The 2 factors of perception is to also to keep in mind when producing a bulletin board is expectation and selectivity. Expectation is when the person overlooks details that don't fit their mental image of what should be on the bulletin board. This factor strongly relates to the selectivity, as people tend to overlook certain details on a bulletin board as they believe it is not relevant at the time. Osgood took into consideration these factors when placing items on a bulletin board, as the information and images are related to the employee's section of work. As you can see on the handouts I have given you, the topics on the bulletin boards are safety and how to make Osgood better, and also the rules to stick by when scaling at heights. These examples relate to the Emergency Call-Out Centre employees. The information on the images had replaced old and outdated information, which then kept employees interested enough to view the board and take in the message being sent. The habituation factor with cognitive perception is important for Osgood to keep in mind for bulletin boards. Habituation is when the human brain ignores images that are regularly seen on a day-to-day basis. From interviewing various employees of Osgood, they have also advised me that management changes the type of information, images, and colours on the bulletin boards on a weekly basis to keep the employees interested and catch their attention. By keeping habituation in mind, Osgood management has realised that if the brain is not stimulated, the employees will not take notice of the board. Which goes back to them changing the boards on a weekly basis to keep the brain stimulated. Because having employees interested in the bulletin boards can affect on how the employees behave and work in the Osgood workplace and also out on the road. As well as talking about the effective communication theories Osgood has implanted in their workplace, I will now talk about the poor communication theory used by the company. Osgood had chosen the communication channel of telephone to communicate to their customers. Through my research, I have deemed this to be a poor communication choice, as the calls are mainly inconvenient to the customer, as they are normally at the wrong time. These wrong times may be when the children get home from work and there is a lot of noise, or the customer is at work and doesn't have time to discuss the topic. This can cause interruption to the telephone call, and the message may not be understood. Then the customer gets frustrated, putting an end to the conversation. This poor communication channel comes under the Weaver's theory of transition model. There are also a number of other contributing factors that has made the telephone a poor choice of communication. Osgood aims to provide an information service to customers. However, the research I have undertaken has proven that the telephone calls conducted, the employee is sending out a message, but the customer does not have a chance to interpret the image, or the message, rather. The speaker will quickly move on to the next topic and therefore creating a one-way conversation. One way as the person conducting the telephone call talking at the customer on the other end of the telephone. This creates the customer to be a passive target who generally receives information but cannot do anything with it as they do not understand the message. Explaining the effective and non-effective communication theories that Osgood have used over the last 6 months have proven that the business needs to make some adjustments to the communication modes, both positive and negative communication modes used. If they want to increase productivity, even though the communication mode of bulletin boards and internal internet works for the employees of Osgood, there can also be improvements made to the principles of the communication theory of Gestalt, which is applied to bulletin boards and internal internet. There is always room for improvement, even for a successful business like Osgood. As the demographic of employees changes, adjustments need to be made. Regularly updating of the current images and information of bulletin boards and internal internet is essential, as when the images stay there for a long time, they become outdated and not interesting to the employees. The management can conduct small surveys either face-to-face or via email to the employees to get their input on the situation. Another recommendation I can make with the effective communication modes and theories is for management to take into consideration the employees' suggestions and then to also implement them into the business and see how they go. Sometimes receiving suggestions from employees is a sign that things need to change. In relation to telephone calls made to customers, Osgood needs to take into consideration that this is not effective in sending out the business message and providing good customer service. If customers need information or help with their electricity, most will call or look up on the website, as those are at their time when they feel like it's warranted, not so when the business calls them and it's invasive. My recommendation is that Osgood prioritise other methods of communication to the public, which are received more positively than the telephone. In conclusion, Osgood is a business that is running effectively in providing services to their customers and relevant support to their employees. However, there are also many areas in regards to communication that the company does well. There is also some areas of communication that can be improved. Thank you.